Ohio State, Oregon, Michigan, Washington, USC, Wisconsin, Iowa, and more have new starting quarterbacks entering 2025 than they did entering 2024. So I want to give you who I believe the top 10 Big Ten quarterbacks will be entering 2025, and also who the top 10 Big Ten quarterbacks will be for the whole season. So when it's all said and done, or during the year, because obviously who enters the year as the best quarterback probably won't finish the year in that same spot. So let's go over this right now, and I want to start off with number 10 through number 6. So I have Mark Gronowski at number 10 as the 10th best quarterback entering 2025. Had 2,721 passing yards, 33 total touchdowns, completed 60% of his throws. Love him with Iowa. He'll be Iowa's best quarterback since Nate Stanley, if not since Beathard. Number 9, I have Julian Sayin. There just isn't a lot to go off of. And with him being a redshirt freshman, I think that at least in, the first few games, just to start the year, he will be pretty low relative to an Ohio State quarterback. I mean, think of how Howard started last year. He struggled against Akron. He had some hiccup games early in the year too, before he really began to turn it on in the playoffs. And think about Kyle McCord the year prior. I mean, think about C.J. Stroud in 2021. Was not as good against Minnesota, Oregon, and Akron as he was in October and November. Before we resume this segment, please take a few seconds of your time to make sure you have liked the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for the channel and for any team podcasts and playlists linked in the description, and also comment your thoughts down below in the comment section and join my Discord server via the description. All of those things I just asked you to do are completely free, and they sign you up for things related to my channel, or they don't sign you up for anything. No cost to you, and all the benefit to you because we release daily college football content here on College Football with Sam. If you want to support the channel monetarily, sign up for a YouTube membership, or check any other links in the description for my merchandise store and Patreon page. Thank you very much, and let's get back to the segment. Just straight up wasn't. So I think the newness there, same with the new coordinator, new play caller, and also the fact that there's newness at tackle relative to last year. That tells me that I think that Sayin is going to have a little bit of growing pains. It's funny how I'm talking about him and even Dante Moore at number 8 compared to Gronowski. I'm saying, 10th for Iowa's excellent at quarterback, and then 9 for 8. I'm trying to caution people from freaking out or getting really mad at me and accusing me of being biased. But that's the difference in expectations and the fact that Oregon and Ohio State are used to having top 10, top 5 quarterback play every year. I put Moore over Sayin solely because Moore has that extra year of experience and actually has started in games before. Sayin's barely played. So that's 9, that's 8. At 7, I got Jaden Maiava. Completed about 60% of his throws, 1,201 passing yards, 11 passing touchdowns, 6 picks, 4 rushing touchdowns. QBR in the 70s. I think Maiava is going to be better than Miller Moss for sure, and I think he'll start the year pretty strong. Aidan Chiles, though, I think he'll start the year stronger because I think his arm talent is better. And I think with him healthy and the supporting cast that he has and his supporting cast being healthy, that 13 touchdown to 11 interception ratio is going to improve pretty dramatically. He'll complete probably more than 59.4% of his throws. And he ran for 225 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns last year with basically no offensive line by the end of the year. So I'm pretty optimistic about Aidan Chiles, and I'm also optimistic about some other quarterbacks. So now we got number 5 through number 1 to start the year. DeMond Williams Jr. at number 5, very optimistic about him. 8 touchdowns, 1 pick, an 84.3 QBR, and almost 1,000 passing yards, completing nearly 80% of his throws. He could be higher, but I think the supporting cast is a little bit shaky, especially on the lines. And Fish is a really good play caller, and we've seen what he did with Fafita, where he turned Fafita into a top 10 QB, and then Fafita turned into a pumpkin the minute he left. And I wonder if Williams could be that, where his system is just really good and it covers up some things. So that's why I was a little bit more bearish on him than some other national analysts are, but I still think he starts the year top 5. He's going to be a really good, top 20 quarterback. I think right out of the gate, he'll be a top 20, top 25 quarterback. Unlike everyone else we talked about, minus maybe Chiles and Maiava. The others I think will take a week or 2 or maybe even 3 to get in that top 25, and then from then they'll continue to improve. Dylan Raiola at 4, 67% completion percentage, 2,819 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 11 picks. Pretty impressive given Marcus Satterfield as his play caller and the wide receivers he had. So I think he'll start this year off pretty hot. Altmaier completed 60% of his throws, 211 of 347, 2,717 passing yards, 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He should be better this year than last year. I will say, though, he's one of those players who will, at the end of the year, not be third. He will be placed lower than this. Just talent limitations, roster limitations. He's good. He's a great, good QB, but does he have first-round potential? Probably not. Mendoza, speaking of who has first-round potential, completed nearly 69% of his passes, over 3,000 passing yards, 16 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, with a 63.8 QBR. In Indiana's system, this will be a fever dream. He'll be one of the best QBs in America. And then Drew Allar, I have as the number 1 QB entering the season. 77.5 QBR, 6 rushing touchdowns at over 300 rushing yards, 3,027 passing yards, 24 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. I expect the interceptions to go down a tad bit, but certainly the touchdowns on both the ground and through the air to go up. So those are my rankings for quarterbacks entering 2025. Entering, not how I think they'll be throughout the year. Just on day 1, when they take the field, how would they be ranked? I want to really caution people there. Now we'll get into who I think the top 10 Big Ten quarterbacks for 2025 are. So this is for the entire season. During the season, down the stretch, when it's all said and done, we'll go through this again. So I have Luke Altmaier falling pretty hard. Not because he'll get worse, but solely because a lot of the other quarterbacks I think are more talented than he is. So they'll just rise at a much quicker rate and take over for him. Altmaier, again, 4 rushing touchdowns, 22 passing touchdowns. He had a 69.1 QBR. He'll be a top 20, top 25 QB for sure. I just think the Big Ten's very strong at quarterback this year. Maiava at 9th, high QBR. I love his upside. His floor is low, though, and I don't think he has the upside of the players ahead of him. Close, but not quite. I have Chiles at 8. Really debated Chiles, Raiola, and Williams. I originally had Chiles ahead of both, and Williams even behind Raiola. But then I decided that Raiola having the statistics and numbers he did while having worse play calling than Chiles and not having legs means his arm is probably more impressive. And that matters, especially with the system he's going to be in with Holgorsen. Williams I had ahead of all of them just because of how effective he was at Washington. Although I'm a little bit uneasy about him. Just a little bit. As I already mentioned, still think he'll be one of the best QBs in the nation and in the Big Ten. And just for context before we move on here, I think after Maiava, you get a tier change. So Altmaier and Maiava are in a similar tier. Maiava will probably look statistically better than anyone on this list, except for maybe Raiola or Williams due to the system he's in. But just as a quarterback by himself, there will be limitations. After him, you get a bump up in talent to Chiles, Raiola, and Williams, who I think are all about in the same category. Moving on to 5 through 1, I think you get to Moore, and there could be a talent increase, but I think it's pretty steady right there. From 8, 7, and 6. Dante Moore, I think in Will Stein's system with the receivers and offensive line he has and his prior experience, he'll quickly acclimate and rise up through the ranks. I just didn't have him ahead of Sayin like I did entering the year because I think that Sayin is probably more talented and Sayin hasn't shown us any negatives yet. Not to say that Moore's season at UCLA, I'm like counting a lot of it against him, but Sayin has a more talented receiver core. I think that Ryan Day's offensive concepts are probably better than Will Stein's. And yeah, I mean, Sayin's been hyped up by so many different people that I trust, like even Nick Saban, to where I think to myself, he's going to be pretty good by the end of the year. But Dante Moore is going to be elite as well. I mean, I think Moore on up are locks for top 15 quarterbacks. All of them could be top 10. Underwood is weird because Underwood, from my perspective, is the most talented QB out of anyone we're talking about, but he's a true freshman. I can't rank him ahead of Sayin, and I can't rank him ahead of Allar. And between one of, I think, Mendoza, Moore, and Raiola, he has to be behind one of them. I mean, if I were If he was a sophomore and he did well the year prior, I'd have him even higher than this. I think his talent is off the charts. 6'4", 208 pounds, 5-star QB in high school. I think he'll be better than Moore, mostly for talent-based reasons at the end of the year. I really think Underwood's going to do what DJ Lagway did last year, where in-game he was the best QB. At the end of the year, he was the best QB in basically every game he played in. I think Underwood will be close to that at the end of the year. And with more playing time and hopefully less injuries if you're a Michigan fan, could even be better at the end of his freshman year than Lagway was at the end of the freshman year. Could. Not saying would. I have Julian Sayin ahead of him because I think Sayin has a better offensive supporting cast than Moore or Underwood. Obviously Underwood in regards to the passing game. Underwood's passing game supporting cast is just closer enough to Oregon's than Ohio State's to where I like Underwood's talent to take over there. And I think that Sayin has more talent than Dante Moore does as well, just a little bit. Mendoza I have staying at 2 because I love the system. I think they develop quarterbacks well there under Cignetti and with his staff. And Mendoza he's big, has first-round traits. He's more talented than Curtis Rourke, and that's a video that's coming up. And then we also have Drew Allar at 1. Kotelnicki's system year 2. His offensive line's the best out of all these teams we're talking about. His receiver core in totality is only second to probably Ohio State, USC's, or Indiana's. So it's a top third. It went from a middle-of-the-road or bottom third Big Ten wide receiver core to a top third one. And if you include tight end, it's only behind Ohio State's and maybe Oregon's. If you include tight end, and then even if you want to include running back, because Penn State did a good job of getting the receivers involved in the pass game, especially Singleton, that could be the best receiver group outside of Ohio State. Could be. So that combined with the round 1, pick 1 potential, the fact he's a senior, I think Allar is going to be in a tier of his own when it comes to Big Ten quarterbacks for the 2025 season. So that's my top 10. Again, to begin the year, I think you are going to see Mark Gronowski, Julian Sayin, Dante Moore, Jaden Maiava, Aidan Chiles, Damon Williams Jr., Raiola, Altmaier, Mendoza, and Allar in that order from the 10th place to the first place, with Nico Imaliava and Bryce Underwood just looking on the outside. And then regular season, Altmaier, Maiava, Chiles, Raiola, Williams Jr., Moore, Underwood, Sayin, Mendoza, and Allar from 10 to 1. Gronowski, I think, will be barely pushed out only because of talent limitations, but it'll still be pretty good. Billy Edwards and Nico Imaliava, I think, will be fighting for that final spot. Now, again, I've been hyping talent a lot here for Moore, Underwood, and Sayin. Why in the heck am I not doing it for Imaliava? Even with Tino Cincinnati, who's a wonderful OC. I just don't think the supporting cast is there. I don't like how Nico left Tennessee. And Nico at Tennessee, I think, was worse than Raiola and Chiles last year for large stretches. And now he's going to a school with arguably less talent than both of those guys. So that's a little explanation for those top 10 rankings, both entering the year and for the 2025 Big Ten football season. Thank you for watching College Football with Sam. Make sure that you've liked the video, subscribed to the channel, hit the notification bell for the channel and team playlists and podcasts in the description, joined the free Discord server where we talk college football 24/7, and have commented your thoughts down below. Check out the description for any ways you can support the channel monetarily. Everything else I've asked you to do is completely free, and your support means the world to me. We're trying to become the next big thing on college football YouTube. 6-figure subscribers, maybe 1 million one day. I think we can do that. And also check out any videos or playlists, anything in these columns right here, where there will be videos and playlists. Yeah, you get the point. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one.